Hello everybody! Welcome back to my writing channel. This is again I'm a singer, Eternal Voice. So as promised a while ago, I made a live stream regarding health data. Okay, so what are those health data or health parameters that a human being should maintain? For example, if you're going to the medical test, okay, medical examination test to a physician or a doctor. Could it be by personal, okay, or could it be due to employment reason, right? That is a requirement. Pre-employment before hiring employees to work, okay, in different industries, plants, factories, or certain private sectors or public sectors. So this is a legal requirement to have medical test result, right? And what are those health data results that should be needed? The most common only that I'll be able to discuss, because I am a chemical engineer, I am not a health professional. I'm not a medical doctor, nor a medical technologist, nor a pharmacist or a nurse or something related to medical courses. Okay, I have an engineering course. Okay, so I cannot do that. So, okay. Basically, my course is a 5-year chemical engineering. Okay, or 5 years Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering. Okay, so a little bit closer. The only linkage for the health or medical courses to be as chemical engineering, because we know the chemical reactions, how those substances behave and interact in the physiology of the human being in conjunction with the anatomy or the structures or parts by parts inside our human body. Okay, for example, the liver, the pancreas, the kidney, okay, the brain, the heart, the gut, the small intestine, the large intestine, the urinary bladder, something like that, the excretory system, the reproductive system. So these parts as an anatomy structure inside our body, okay, needs biological substances and chemical substances. Okay, now it needs to react inside. So this is the area where a chemical engineer is expert about. Okay, and we have a rigid, shall we say, knowledge for that if we take into account the chemical reaction of different biological substances and chemical substances in our body. Okay, get the point. Now, we don't go deeper technically. So what I am doing here now is to discuss only the basic concepts of the health data that anybody or every human being to be maintained. Okay, something like that. So first, we need to maintain the blood pressure. Okay, so blood pressure, so normally we are referring to the plasma cells, the red blood cells, not the white blood cells, which are the leukocytes, the phagocytes, the neutrophils, like that. Okay, we are not talking for that. We are talking for the red blood cells. Okay, so that is the focus and the center of the testing the blood pressure of every human being. Okay, now number one, health. So I'm talking about health that because this is related to my profession also. Occupational Safety and Health Professional, or HSE, Health, Safety and Environment. So very broad. We are not focusing only to one area. So there are 3 areas to be considered as part of a one complete structure, which is an OSH and an HSE. Okay. Okay. Health data. So actually, by code of ethics, we have parallel duties and responsibilities to the health professionals by saving the lives of the people. So we have a very noble task comparable to those health professionals, because our task really is to avoid any harm and injuries so that there will be no pain and suffering, there will be no accidents, there will be no incidents like that. And we deal also human lives in our profession. And this is not a joke. Okay? Something like that. The main role of an SH professional or an HSE professional, aside from the workplace Okay, safety aspects or whatever like that. Okay, it's gonna be like that. And then also a teacher. Okay, so these three professions, the teacher, okay, the OSH professionals and the medical professionals are the noblest tasks. Okay, so the teachers are shaping the mind of the young individuals so that they will learn knowledge, they obtain knowledge so that they can use that in their day-to-day life as they grow older. And then the medical professionals also treat patients in order they can survive like that, and they can prevent diseases from coming into their lives and to sustain their lives for a longer period of time. So it talks about also human survival. Now the safety professional also is just like that also. We need to protect people against any injuries so that they can sustain their lives for a longer period of time. So basically just parallel with each other between the OSH professional and the medical and health professionals. That's why we are in one section. Okay, because usually our health professionals are doctors or nurses, something like that. But it depends on the organization because usually the HSE professionals are known to be having adequate knowledge also with health, with environment, so they can save money, that they can hire a certain professional that is undergoing a multitasking responsibility. Okay, rather than hiring individually the environment engineer, the health engineer, or the health professional like that, blah blah blah, so and so. They can save also money. Okay, not to hire a doctor, a diagnostic doctor, or a physician, because sometimes it can also be given only by the nurse who are also trained to do some stuff related to a physician or a doctor. Though it's not really that the same, but at least basically common, okay, like that, okay? So it's gonna be like that. So going back, so health data, okay? So for example, if you're working in the Middle East, so we are calling this as a health passport. And now you can see that this on your mobile phone, if you just downloaded the Tawakalna or the Siyafi apps, then it's in there. You can schedule your vaccination, first dose, second dose, like that. After that, the results will be declared there, and there will be your health passport, something like that. Actually, that is also called as health data. It's just the same. So don't be confused. Only terminologies. Okay? Ganon. So the first is the blood pressure. Ganon. So what is the normal blood pressure at any ages? Generally. So it should be 120 millimeters mercury. Okay? This is systolic over 80 mmHg diastolic. Okay, so the numerator class will be the systolic and the denominator will be the diastolic. So it talks about how the pulse behave as this blood pressure device will be used by the nurse to take your blood pressure, something like that. And this mmHg is simply only the unit by the mercury bulb. When it goes up, it goes down, directly proportional also to the pulse beat. Okay, something like that. So, liquid mercury, the color is, I think it's gonna be silvery white. If you try to look the glass portion of that blood pressure device. Okay, you get the point. Now, like this. Now, in my case, okay, it's gonna be from 41 to 50 years old. So, our normal blood pressure is gonna be like this, 119.5 mmHg over 80.5 mmHg. Okay, something like that. Now, I'm not really the one who measured, but the nurse. Okay, of course. Okay, when I go to the clinic, when I went to the clinic and I have a result of 110 mmHg over 80. Oh guys, this is really a good, a very normal blood pressure in my case. Okay, I have 110 over 80, meaning mmHg. Not necessarily specifying the unit which is the millimeters mercury, it's understood. But if you face examination in the future, you should have a unit for the numerator and denominator because that is not unitless. In engineering, unit is very important. You have to mention that one. Since we are only focusing that it is understood, applicable to the entire human race, then we can say by understood that 180 over 90, like that, blah, blah, blah. But if you try to be technically precise, that is with unit. NNHG, millimeters mercury, meaning the unit of an elevation pressure. Okay, so what is the formula of elevation pressure? As I discussed that in our transport phenomena in chemical engineering, okay, or in the Bernoulli equation. You remember that one? That is elevation pressure. You have the dynamic pressure, hydrostatic pressure, like that, blah, 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 so and so. It's gonna be only the density times the height. Okay, pressure is equals to density times the height. Okay, this is the height where the mercury move up and down. And the density, of course, the density is always standard. That could be basically the density of the mercury in relation to the density of the blood. Since that is directly proportional with each other, it's gonna be the density of the mercury that we'll be able to use. Because the height of the mercury that goes up and down will be considered. So you should be consistent for that. That's why density of the mercury and the height of the mercury at least goes up, goes down when your pulse also have changes in the beating. That's why it's measured by the blood pressure device. So it's gonna be like that. And the unit for this is mmHg. Okay, elevation density or elevation pressure, and head pressure, not density. Okay, muna siya ang pag-compute sa pressure sa blood pressure. And the normal level is 120 mmHg over 80 mmHg. Now, how often you are going to do the blood pressure? It's gonna be monthly, okay, or it's gonna be every quarterly. It doesn't have to be specified or specific, but it should be regular. Okay, regular. You will do that periodically every 3 months, every 3 weeks, every 9 months, something. As long as it is periodic in a year, that won't matter. As long as you test your blood pressure to a health professional periodically, something like that, or regularly, something like that. Okay, now that is for the blood pressure. Okay, number 2, sugar level. Okay, sugar level. So this is sugar level. Okay, guys, there are various types of sugar in organic chemistry. Okay, so we have disaccharides sugars, monosaccharide sugars, trisaccharide sugars. So these are the polymers family under the polysaccharides group if you are studying based in chemical engineering and organic chemistry. But this specific sugar is a glucose. Okay, glucose. And what is the formula of glucose, class? Okay, glucose. Glucoses coming from the carbohydrates. Something like that. The storage of glucoses in your body is the glycogen. If you remember the biology, the storage house of the glucoses, sugars are the glycogen. Meaning to say, glycogen class is macro molecule. Okay, meaning to say, polysaccharides composed of monosaccharides. If we mean saccharides, those are sugars. Okay, going back to glucose. So this is specifically, I'm not saying sucrose, I'm not saying fructose, I'm not saying maltose, I'm not saying galactose, right? And it's very clear. Okay, now glucose. Okay, what is the formula of glucose? I need to illustrate the formula so that we can understand the reaction inside our body, how it behaves, how it interacts to the anatomy structures inside our body. Something you have to be smart enough to, to troubleshoot where the sugars interacting with. Okay, now the glucose is carbon, okay, carbon 6H12O6, okay. There are 6 atoms of carbon, okay. There are 12 atoms of hydrogen, okay, and there are 6 atoms of oxygen. And this glucose okay, is the blood sugar. Is the blood sugar. And this is what we are trying to refer. Blood sugar. For example, for the examination in the future, so what is a sugar in the blood? Fill in the blank type of question. Your answer will be glucose. Okay, because there are a lot of types of sugar. Sucrose, maltose, galactose, ketosis. Ketosis also are sugars, are stored sugars that are usually left behind, meaning to say the last to be burned out. Okay, it's a stored of sugars that will be the last to be burned out after this glucoses will be burned out. This fructose will be burned out. The sucrose will be burned out. And the last but not the least are the ketosis sugar. That's why we have ketosis. Ketosis is a metabolism process, the breakdown of ketosis sugars. Okay, this will be applicable if you do the intermittent fasting as advised by the doctor or your medical doctor or your personal doctor, something like that. Okay, now glucose is 6 atoms of carbon, 12 atoms of hydrogen, and 6 atoms of oxygen. So this is the sugar level. Now, what is the limit for normal individual? Something like that. What is the limit for this? Okay, it's gonna be less than 140 milligrams per deciliter. Okay, 140. Okay, ganun siya. Milligrams deciliter. Okay. This is the unit. When you receive the medical results certificate after your medical examination result by a doctor in a certain hospital, then you will receive that certificate. The unit specified there and reflected there is milligrams per deciliter. You get the point? Okay, something like that. 140. So it must be less than 140. Okay, now take note. Okay, if it goes beyond 140, what will happen? Okay, so if it goes beyond 140 milligrams per deciliter, okay guys, to 199, charot. Okay, 199 milligrams deciliter. You get the point? Okay, so this is the borderline. 140 to 199. This is the borderline. Be careful. What do you mean by a borderline? This signals pre-diabetic. Okay, pre-diabetic meaning you will continuously, not continuously, you will gradually develop the type 2 diabetes or hyperglycemia in the future if you will not cut off the sugar intake in your daily food consumption and daily drink consumption. Take note, from 140 milligrams per deciliter to 199 milligrams deciliter. But the normal value or sugar level, which is the glucose, is less than 140 milligrams deciliter. But take note, if it is less than 70 or 70 milligrams deciliter, what will happen? Oh my gosh, 70, less than. In algebra, we need to use symbol like that, an arrow going there, an arrow going there. So there's a purpose for that. If the arrow seems to eat the number, okay, that is greater than or above. If it's away from the number, that is less than. Okay? So if there's a two straight line that is equal, if, for example, like this, less than or equal to, like this. Okay, that's the symbol in algebra. And we need also to remember that one in our basic mathematics. Okay, ganon. Okay, less than 70, guys. Be careful because you have also low sugar. Okay, 70 milligrams per deciliter, less than. You have a very low sugar. What are the symptoms? Fainting, okay, vomiting, nausea, extreme dizziness, extreme fatigue, extreme vertigo, something like that, too much headache, and then you cannot breathe properly, you cannot sleep properly. That's a signal that you have a low content of your glucose sugar in your blood, less than 70 milligrams per deciliter. And it's not good because it can develop hypoglycemia. Okay? Hypoglycemia. Okay? Hypoglycemia meaning to say very less glucose level. Glucose is the root term of glycemia. Okay? There's a glucose in the glycemia. The hypoglycemia. Hypo means lesser or less than. Hyper means above or greater than. That's why we have hypertension, meaning above blood pressure. That's why we have hypertension. We have also hypotension, lower blood pressure. So just discover the term that would be added before the terminology. For example, tension. Could it be hyper? Could it be hypo? Okay. Then glycemia. Could it be hypo? Could it be hyper? Hyper is above. Hypo is less than. So memorize the technicalities of using the medical terms. Okay? Something like that. So this is for the sugar. Now, what will happen, guys? We have now the normal level below 140. We have now the borderline 140 to 199, and we have also the less than. This is a hypoglycemia. What will happen, guys, if we have 200 milligrams per deciliter above? So this is over glucose sugar. Okay, problem. This is the time obesity comes in, overweight comes in, type 2 diabetes comes in. What else? Hyperglycemia, hypertension, the risk of cardiovascular diseases, osteosclerosis, the hardening of your heart, on your artery, something like that. And there is also the increase in cholesterol. Okay, if you have sugar and cholesterol are dependent with each other kasi. Okay, and I will explain to you later because of the structural chemical formula, how it is related and how it reacts and how it behaves. So there is parallelism or similarities in the characteristic of a cholesterol and a sugar, something like that. Glucose is what I mean specifically. Okay. We are done with the sugar level, and I have to erase this one. Okay, my gosh. My God, I hate drugs, as per PRRD statement. My gosh. Charot. I need to erase this one. So, okay guys, are you still there? Look at the whiteboard. I will erase the too much erasures here. Okay. Sugar level, right? Number 3. Okay, number 3, guys, we need to maintain the triglycerides level. What do you mean by triglycerides? Tri means 3. Glycerides mean coming from the root word glycerol. It's a form of alcohol that composed of 3 carbon atoms. Okay, 3 carbon atoms and banded with 8 oxygen atoms and together with hydrogen atoms. That's why triglycerides. Glyceride comes from glycerol. Still an OL family, just like a cholesterol, ethanol, methanol, but the behavior is not parallel to those alcoholic content. It's not the same, but only the family, okay, it ends with OL. OL family. Again, ethanol, methanol, propanol, glycerol, and cholesterol. Okay? Well, except for the paracetamol, ha? Way labot ang paracetamol. Okay? Ganun siya. Okay? So, okay, going triglycerides na tayo, guys, ha? At least, guys, your triglyceride level will be 20%. 20% of your total cholesterol. That is the requirement. And if there is a given data, the medical result, then you have to multiply that with 20%. And then just take a look on the result. There is a parameter that is the high level, and you don't have to exceed to that level. If you interpret your medical results, it's in there. Okay, you don't have to worry because it's reflected in your medical result. Something like that, okay? All you have to do is to be smart enough to detect immediately your health data records. Okay, something like that. So, triglycerides. Okay, ano siya? triglycerides. Okay, like this. Okay. So what is the formula for this? I need to illustrate the formula because we can so that we can understand, right? The linkage or the similarity to other macromolecules. These are macromolecules, the sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides, carbohydrates, okay, in biochemistry. Okay, now we have glycerides, triglycerides. The formula, guys, is C6H8O6. 6 atoms of carbon, okay, 8 atoms of hydrogen, and 6 atoms of oxygen. Guys, all you have to do is to be, when you are studying Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering and Bachelor of Science in Chemistry, all you have to do, guys, is to be resourceful, to study a lot and do a lot of memorization. Understand the complete structures of the chemical formulas so that you can still remember when you go older, we grow older, let's say 50 years old, 60 years old, something like that. Okay, so after 10 years, after 15 years, after 20 years, you can still remember. Okay, especially after taking the board examination, you pass the board examination, right? And after that one, you should remember the basic concepts of those different types of chemistry. The organic chemistry, inorganic chemistry, qualitative chemistry, quantitative chemistry, medical chemistry or clinical chemistry, environmental chemistry, like that, and the physical chemistry, like that, and a whole lot more. Nuclear chemistry also is very interesting, right? In the study of how to make a spaceship to run in the outer space, that's under nuclear chemistry. And also the nuclear power plant is having the knowledge of, rigid knowledge of nuclear chemistry. It talks about the atoms, molecules, blah, 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 so and so, protons, neutrons, and that is not our coverage here right now. Okay, so we touch only a little bit about nuclear chemistry. Okay, now we have the formula of 6 atoms of carbon, 8 atoms of hydrogen, 6 atoms of sugar for the triglycerides. Guys, if I talk too fast, just slow down because that is my weakness. Okay, when I was in college really, I talked too fast during the reporting, and then there things, you're very fast, and we cannot understand very well because you're too very fast. So just tell me, then I can slow down my English communication skills or English speaking capability. Oh my gosh. Okay, something like that. So, okay, triglyceride. At least 20% of your total cholesterol. Okay? Like that. Okay, now. Muna siya ang triglycerides. Okay guys, para mahibawan ginato, in order we know the structural formula. How can we know the structural formula first? Guys, this is not only like this. It varies with a double bond and a triple bond. Okay, in organic chemistry. So it's just written in a chemical formula like this, but there's somewhere double band. I think there are 3 double bands somewhere along in the first carbon atom. Wait. I could remember in organic chemistry. From 1 carbon and then going there and then, okay, I must draw. Okay, the chemical structural formula of triglycerides that we should maintain in our body at least 20% of your cholesterol. Okay, like that. Because cholesterol contains triglyceride in the first place. That's why I told you if the triglycerides will be higher, your cholesterol will be higher also because that is directly proportional to each other. Because triglycerides are a component of cholesterol, sorry. Okay, ganon. So this is gonna be like this, the structural formula. Okay, this when I was in class, I'm very loving on the structural formula, chemical formula. I'm not too good in calculations, but I love things like this. Okay, concepts, theories, principles, like that, reporting. Okay, like this. Okay, so, okay class, ganon. So this gonna be like this. 1, 2, 3, ganon. Diba? So 1, 2, 3. Okay, ganon. And then there's other one here, like this. What you will remember in organic chemistry, guys, is the benzene ring. Okay, benzene ring. Just like, like just like a polygon. Okay, polygon composed of so many sides. But in organic chemistry, usually 5 sides pentagon and 6 sides hexagon. Usually 6 sides because that is for benzene or benzene ring. Something like a C6H, 6 atoms of carbon and 6 atoms of hydrogen. Okay, it's benzene. Okay, like this. Oh, ganon. So it's gonna be like this. Okay, ganon, ganon, ganon. Okay, now, where are the double bonds? It's gonna be the first carbon atoms here, and the carbon atom on the side, and it's gonna be like here. Okay, the technique, guys, is the opposite. Okay, oxygen must be in the opposite, something like this. So if you have the oxygen atoms here, okay, oxygen, ganon, oxygen, okay. The oxygen will be in the opposite on the other side. Oxygen, ganon. Okay, guys, and then the oxygen will be having another oxygen in the partner on the side. So it's gonna be oxygen. And it's gonna be hydrogen. O, ganun, ganon. Diba? Now, kung hydrogen sa taas, you have the opposite also of hydrogen here in the other side. So this is hydrogen. And this is oxygen because I said earlier, partner with oxygen. Guys, in organic chemistry, you don't have to memorize everything. You need only to follow the rules of the structuring and the orientation of these atoms where it is being put or being placed. Something like that upon rotation, like that, blah, 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 so and so. Rules, okay, like that. And you have to take down, oh my gosh, what's going to be happening like this? And you have to inject that in your brain cells. Okay, like that. So it's going to be like that. And then here, guys, okay, it's going to be that, okay, the oxygen. Okay, and the oxygen and the H. Okay, take note. The oxygen also here is partner, right? Side by side. And there's the H here. Take note, guys. How many carbon in this case? Carbon atoms. How can we identify? This is the carbon. 1. In this particular, this is a carbon or not? It is not a carbon because it's bonded with oxygen directly. So the carbon is here. So 2. Okay? Like this. 3. Here. 4. Okay, here. 5. Here. 6 here. So this one is 6 atoms of carbon. So complete na sa carbon. Okay, now hydrogen is 8. Okay, this hydrogen will produce hydrogen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6. Okay, like that. In here. Okay. So you get the point? So actually, this is understood. It's gonna be like this. There's a carbon here. Okay, and then carbon in Lewis dot structure in octet rule in general chemistry lecture, that structures in the bonding. I think it's gonna be the topic of covalent bonding and polar covalent bonding and non-polar covalent bonding. The non-polar covalent bonding is the equal sharing of electrons. Okay, and the polar covalent bonding is not the equal sharing of electrons. If you could remember, right? Why I see this. For example, if I say water, water has a higher polarity. It's a polar solvent. Most of the polar solvent conduct electricity, okay, or highly conductive substance. That's why it's called polar. Since we intake water day by day, so we have a stored electricity in our body because water is polarity. Okay, has a higher polarity. It will become just less because due to the neutralization reaction of other biological substances in our body. Okay, so that's why if we are contacted to an open wiring, something like that, and the electrons flow to the path of your body, and you will be electrocuted. Okay, because we have stored electricity because of water has a high polarity. Now, okay, so basically water is a polar solvent, and that is hydrogen bonding. Okay, dipole-dipole hydrogen bonding. Review the kinds of bondings also. By the time you understand the chemical bonding, you will understand also the chemical reactions. It's easy for you to understand if you are taking up chemical engineering and Bachelor of Science in Chemistry. Okay, like that. So, we have the hydrogen. Okay, hey, what I say this is a carbon. So carbon has 4 atoms. It could be banded. 4 maximum. Like this chuba chuchu. Sige, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ganon. Okay, ganon siya. Naman kay O dili ari. So carbon. So this carbon we have to because this is a single band. So there is still another hydrogen here. Hydrogen here. Okay? And still there's a carbon there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's correct. And here, there's also carbons. 1, 2, 3, H. Count the H now. How much? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, ganon. Because you have still one hydrogen here. 8 hydrogen. So, 8 hydrogen. Oxygen 6. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oxygen 6. So, technically correct. The formula of triglycerides in our body is 6 atoms of carbon, sorry. Okay, 8 atoms of hydrogen and 6 atoms of oxygen. Okay, it's gonna be like that. Now, if these triglycerides will react to water, what will happen? It increases the number of atoms of hydrogen and oxygen because water has a hydrogen atom and it has also an oxygen atom. So the more your triglyceride level will be developed if you keep drinking also with water. You get the point? If you love eating sugar that much and you keep also drinking water, the more your triglyceride level will increase. Because I said earlier, there are hydrogen atoms in water, there are oxygen atoms in water, and these triglycerides, of course, in the structural formula, there's a lot of H and O. What will happen? So it will increase, okay, by technical analysis. The way of your chemical structure proves, okay? Apart from other interaction of other biological substances. It's only one factor, something like that, okay? So, by the way, this triglycerides really is not hydrophilic. What do you mean by hydrophilic? Meaning it's not dissolved immediately, okay? That's why it will stay a little bit in your body, okay? So when it will become too much, that will become a problem because you cannot easily burn this. That's why we need to have physical exercise because in order for this, triglycerides will be removed from your body through the process of metabolism. Okay? Metabolism generally, but specifically catabolism. Okay, because there are two types of metabolism, catabolism and anabolism. So, guys, I will try to educate you. If we speak about metabolism, there are two types of metabolism, catabolism and anabolism. This catabolism is the example when we do the exercise because that is the breakdown of large molecules to smaller molecules. Okay, from very big fats, it will become water, electrolytes, another quantities of fats that will remove from your excretory system. Okay, and then the anabolism is the reverse. Okay, it will, from smaller molecules, will build up more and more larger molecules. So that's why, if we speak about metabolism, we refer to catabolism specifically. Though in general, we say that it's only metabolism because nobody knows that because that's only for the biological students, medical students, or chemical engineers, or chemist students, or chemist professional, but technically that is catabolism under metabolism. Okay, that's metabolism also, guys, is a one branch of study of biology in the biochemistry, sorry, biology plus chemistry, along with, for example, in our chemical engineering, we don't go further with biochemistry, guys, but we have biochemical engineering. But in my part, I keep on researching also patago. Even though we don't have that specific subject, patago kay kung mag-study ni Amy Gayuna when I was in college. Still in college. Imagine, even though wala sa subject, mag-study paghapon ko. Okay? So, di ba grabe kayo ko kakulit, right? Okay, so it helps me a lot also for that. I learned a lot. Okay, so biochemistry, we have the first plant chemistry. Okay, we have the animal chemistry. Okay, we have the immunology. We have the metabolism. Okay, like that. And we have the genetics and the cell biology. These are the topics of biochemistry. Okay, plant biochemistry, animal biochemistry, immunology, metabolism, okay, and then genetics and the cell biology. Okay, 6 branches of biochemistry, and one by one you have to study that. Okay, for the animal chemistry, human being is under there. Okay, because we are the highest form of animal, under phylum Mammalia in the kingdom of biology. Okay, the study of life. something like that. Okay, so that's gonna be like that. And for the immunology, it's there we discuss about the different types of microorganisms, living organisms, specifically the viruses, the bacteria, the fungi, the algae, the worm, the parasites. Okay, the Escherichia coli, something like E. coli, something like that, or any types of worms. Okay? Muna tuloy ito mga process of, for example, there's a predator, gano'n siya, okay, commensalism. Yung cycle niya, okay, sa biology, we have to understand that also, ha? Then we need to eat the animals eat this, blah, 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 the insects will eat this, blah, 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 and cycle, like that, okay? Like that. Predator, commensalism, mga gano'n. So we don't have to touch for that, it is part only for biochemistry. Okay, now, that is triglyceride. That is 20% of your total cholesterol. Now guys, how to compute the total cholesterol? Total cholesterol. Okay, by simple mathematics, total cholesterol. But guys, the doctors will not compute this manually because it's automatic in the digital device. If they get the sample, for example, the blood sample, the urine sample, or the stool sample, if they place that there in the technology, it will just appear in the screen. Okay, like that. Okay, because that is a high tech. But I will teach you the manual computation, how to compute the total cholesterol by manual computation. Okay, take a look. Okay, total cholesterol is equal to, have your pen and blank sheet of paper, because we don't have the technology. Okay, we are not hospitals, especially we are only in home. So at least we have the knowledge how to compute our total cholesterol. Okay, total cholesterol, TC is equals to the bad cholesterol. Okay, bad cholesterol plus the good cholesterol. Okay, plus the 20% of the triglycerides I mentioned a while ago. So that is 0.20. So 0.20 of the triglycerides level. Okay, TG. Okay, now the units are expressed in milligrams per deciliter. Now, if the medical results are not expressed in this way, you have to compute, use the conversion factor. For example, if going back to the sugar, if we have 200 milligrams deciliter above, that is causing type 2 diabetes, right? And hyperglycemia. So convert that one. And how can we convert that one? Okay, going back, let's say 200, before going farther to the formula of total cholesterol. Okay, for the sugar maximum, this is for indication of a diabetic person, ha? So 200 above. So 200 milligrams per deciliter. Okay, milli. Remember algebra. What is the prefix for milli? 10 times 10 to the negative 6, right? Am I correct? Milli? Because no, it's not negative 6 micro, negative 3 micro man siya, right? Okay, so milliliters, 1,000 milliliter, 3, sorry. Milliliter is 10 to the negative 3. I remember in my brain cells that there is 1 letter and there is 1,000 milliliter. So there are 3 zeros there, so automatically I change it with 10 to the negative 3. It's gonna be like that, huh? When you vlog, sometimes you will listen what you were trying to say. Okay? Para di ka ma-judge as lutang or whatever. Okay? Or bubo. Okay? Something like that. We should recognize that after 1 minute, after 2 minutes, like that. When we talk and discuss or when we have speech to the public, we should recognize what we are saying. Okay? Like that. We should be clever what we are trying to say, what we are trying to emphasize. Something like that. Okay. My gosh. And you should do that point by point, especially if you do the public speaking or public speech. This is only vlogging and live streaming, and there's no time limit. That's why I do this in a detailed fashion. Okay? Something like that. Okay. Going back. Okay. Milligrams. Okay. Milligrams na siya na. So, milligrams. Okay, ganun siya. So, 1 milligram. Okay. 10 to the negative 3, okay, gram. Because negative 3 is the milli, right? Okay, cancel the milligram. Okay, what we left is that grams per deciliter. Okay, deciliter mean 1 deciliter. So mean dc is 10 to the negative 1. Because centi is negative 2. Okay, like that. Negative 3 is milli, that's why, right? Okay, negative 6 micro. Okay, like that. So that is 1 deciliter is supposed to 10 to the negative 1 liter. So deciliter cancel, milligrams cancel, milligrams cancel. Okay, what is left is grams per liter. Oh my gosh, grams per liter. What is that unit all about? Hala. That could also be density, mass over volume, right? This grams is mass, this letter is volume. Okay? Now, how can we convert this to millimole per liter? Because millimole per liter is also the standard unit of the medical results by the doctor in different hospitals. It should be expressed like that. And for example, if that is a gas, expressed also in parts per million, the ppm. But here, it's just like that, millimoles per liter or milligrams per deciliter. And how we convert this to millimoles per liter? Okay, millimoles per liter. Okay, so again, milli is 10 to the negative 3. Okay, so 10 to the negative 3 moles. Okay, per liter. Now guys, moles per liter is a unit of solubility or concentration. Okay, how can we change this density to concentration? Hala, how can we change this density to concentration? So we need to convert. So if you try to remember the ideal gas law, something like that, or ideal solutions, okay, of the mixture, we can also use that, but we try to convert first to make it easy. Okay, so it's grams per liter. Okay, okay, guys, you need to convert the density to the concentration. Okay, because you are trying to find out the level of your blood sugar in terms of concentration, not in terms of density. Get the point? Because the doctor sometimes, not all the time, is expressing that in density. Milligrams per deciliter is a density, unit of density, right? Mass over volume. Okay, milligram is a mass, deciliter is a volume. So, mass over volume is a density, right? Any objection so far? But the doctor, of course, normally will never say that because they are not concerned of the formula, because they are not also engineers. Okay? You get the point? They are concerned of treating the disease, controlling the disease, doing the diagnostic test, and trying to prescribe the appropriate medicines in order for your sickness will be eliminated, reduced, and so that you will get well. So that's their main purpose. Okay, unless they're an engineer at the same time, a doctor. But it's a rare case, okay, right? So that is a density. Okay, we need that to convert to concentration. Now, our concentration is moles per liter. This is our destination point. We make it to moles per liter. Okay, first, before going to millimoles. Anyway, the milli is just only a prefix to be attached in the unit. Okay, now so this is grams per liter. So the liter is already in the denominator. It's just the same. So our problem now is only in the numerator. Okay? So we convert the numerator, of course, because the denominator is just correct already. So how can we do that? Okay? How can we do that? Hala. Again, this is very basic in chemistry. Remember the molecular weight and the molar mass. Okay, molecular weight and the molar mass is just the same. Now, as I said earlier, blood sugar is specifically glucose. What did I told you a while ago? What is the formula of a glucose? Carbon 6, H12O6. Now compute for the molecular weight. How much is that? So, calculator please. Charot. I think it's gonna be 180.5 something based on my brain cells. But please just verify again. Because before when I was a student, I still also memorized the molecular weight of common substances. It's gonna be 180 point something for glucose. I'm not really that sure. Because this is carbon, 6H12O6. Okay? Sorry, the C6H12O6 is triglycerides. Oh, di ba? Ganon. Okay, ganon siya. So, kung saan ito compute, guys? Okay. So, 6, we have carbon, 6H12O6, which is the glucose. 6 times, the atomic mass or the atomic weight of carbon is 12. Carbon 12. Okay, multiply that one. Hydrogen has atomic weight of 1.008. So 12 times 1.008. Okay, oxygen, 6 times, pila man ang oxygen. Okay, this is, oxygen is 16. So, 6 times 16. Okay, tama ba? 16, oxygen. Okay. Oxygen gas is 16, right? Correct, because 2 times 8 siya. This becomes 16. Because oxygen, when we mean of oxygen, that is literally oxygen gas. Okay? So you get the point. So let's compute that one. Okay. So akong memorization, it tells me that it is 1.80 point something as the molecular weight of the glucose, blood sugar. Okay, so I have to do this 6 times 12. Okay. Like this. It's gonna be 72. Guys, sorry that's a very detailed discussion. Okay, so 72. Okay, plus, so 12 times 1.08. So 12 times 1.008 is equal to 12.096. 12.096. Guys, it's up to you if you will memorize all the molecular weight of all common substances, the better, the more better. If you're taking up Bachelor of Science in Chemistry or BS Chemistry and BS Chemical Engineering, because they are nearly related with each other. So usually deals with substances. Okay? So molecular weight is always under the study of these courses. So the more you memorize a lot, that will be better. Rather than computation like this, it will take me time to go it one by one. Right? Okay? So, I advise you while you are still in grade 5, grade 6, elementary level, high school, memorize na good talaga siya sa mga common. Okay? Because when I was in grade school level, I did not memorize. When I was only in high school, then I start to memorize the common molecular weight of few substances. Example, water, ethyl alcohol. Okay, ganun siya. Okay? Okay, so 2 times 16. That if that is the case, if you're trying to take up chemical engineering, okay? Nganga gyud ka guys, pag di ka magsugod og memorized. Okay? Nganga. Okay? So 32. Okay? 32. So how much this one? Okay? 32. Murag sayo pang akong memorization for this. Okay, sige lang. Okay, 72 plus, okay, 12.0, okay, 96 plus 32 is equals to 116. Okay, 116.09 grams per gram mole. Okay, now let's prove that by using the Google search.
The Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
Google search. Maybe I was wrong also. Let's check. Okay? Ganun siya di ba? Okay. Okay.
The Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
Okay. Again, i-review na to. 72 plus 12.096. Okay. Okay. Equals to plus. Okay. Again, 72. Okay. Ako i-compute pa tayo kasi correct dyan siya. 12.096. Okay. 6 times 6, guys. 6 times 6. 6 times 16. Ano ka? This is 96, sorry. Okay. So I reviewed it. It is 96 already. Okay. So it's better to review. Okay. In my college, during the board examination, I reviewed 2 times. Okay. So 72 plus 12.096 plus 96. See? 180.096. My memory doesn't fail. It's correct. Oh, 81.096. I memorized this already, right? In my introduction, it's 180 already. So it's correct. So my memory still works. So 180.096. Okay? So that's the power of memorization. Okay? So we have now.
The Bluetooth device is connected successfully.
Now, we have the denominator of letter and we have the numerator of grams. So, di na po ilagdan ang letter. Okay, we need to convert that into moles per liter muna. Okay, so how can we do that? How can we do that? So, if we try to like this, grams, mol. Meaning, we need to multiply by the molecular weight, but the reverse of the molecular weight, in order the grams will be cancelled, and what is being left is the moles per liter. Take a look. We have the molecular weight of 180.096, just reverse that one, and that will be multiplied by this unit grams per liter, in which mo siya value. Okay? So, ganon. So, this is 180.096. Okay, grams, 0.96 grams per mole. 1 grams cancel out, will be left is moles per liter. Now, it's very easy already to convert that to millimoles per liter. So, milli means -3. So, conversion again. So, bingo, makuha ni mo ang millimoles per liter sa value of your triglycerides level or sugar level. Okay, or cholesterol level. Okay, now going back to the formula of total cholesterol. Okay, ganon. So, total cholesterol is equal to the bad cholesterol plus the, sino siya? Good cholesterol plus 0.20 triglycerides. Now, we have already the formula of triglycerides I explained a while ago, right? Now, what is the formula of cholesterol? What is the formula of cholesterol so that we can understand really, what is this cholesterol all about? Okay? So, kung saan siya kabugat? Okay, how?
device is ready to help.
Okay, this is very having a high molecular weight. That's why when it clogged in the veins of our anatomy inside our body, the flow of our blood.
Device is ready to help.
The flow of our blood will be disturbed. Okay, the flow of our blood will be disturbed, so the pumping of oxygen will be affected, and the pumping of the nutrients to go to the specific area of the organs will be also affected. Not only the nutrients, vitamins also. Okay, and oxygen and the blood. Okay, so what will happen? So, if the flow will not go directly to your brain, you will develop a stroke. Because the flow of the blood will not go directly to your brain cells, because there's an obstruction of the clogging of this cholesterol substances deposit. It's very, very hard to dissolve because it has a very high molecular weight of carbon 27, hydrogen 46, something like that. Okay? Grabe, no? You get the point? Carbon 27, hydrogen 46, and oxygen. There are 27 atoms of carbon, imagine. There are 46 atoms of hydrogen. And oxygen is a blessing. There's only one atom of oxygen. There's a blessing. Okay? So there's no problem too much with oxygen, but for the carbon and hydrogen, that's very weightful. Very bugat siya. So, carbon 27, pwede ka po rin i-memorize, guys, ha? Because when you take the board examination or any science quiz or chemistry quiz, who knows? The question will be, what is the molecular weight of a cholesterol? Then there's no choices. There's no periodic table in your hand. How can you do that? So you will memorize, right? You see, C27, H46, oh, perfect. Ganon. Okay? Because in the examination, in the science fair quiz, in a chemistry quiz or any science-related quiz, you don't have books on your hand. You don't have notes on your hand. All you have is your brain cells. You get the point? In the board examination, you are allowed only to bring the handbook, one only handbook. In our part, we bring only the Paris Chemical Engineer's Handbook. Okay, I think that was 7th edition, no other books. Because in chemical engineering, you cannot memorize everything. Okay, that's why that's the purpose. And there's a lot of graphs, graphical coloration, tables, and then nobody is perfect to that. Okay, even though how intelligent you are, if you are taking up this chemical engineering, you at least have bring the chemical engineer's handbook in your hand during the PRC chemical engineer's licensure examination. Now, so that is C27H46O. Guys, ano wala man yung subscript ang O? It doesn't mean nagamay radiation atoms, guys, but there's a lot of double band in here. Double band, and I don't know if there's a triple band. We need to investigate the structural formula if we know, but that is not our interest here. We are only trying to, this is very wakeful, right? So, mo nang muklag siya kay bugat kay ang cholesterol. Okay, now, we need to do exercise para muhilis siya. So that it will be totally dissolved, we need to do physical exercise. And then, we try to eat the vitamins, intake of vitamins, so that it will react and it will fight this cholesterol to be broken up into smaller substances so that it could be removed in our excretory system. Could it be in the urine? Could it be in the sweat? Could it be in the bowel movement? Or the stool? Okay, for the waste release. It could either be three, right? Bowel, urine, and the sweat. Okay, and the skin. Okay, in your epidermis. The outer layer of your skin is called as epidermis. Okay, like that. So 27 atoms of carbon, 46 atoms of hydrogen. Okay, para ma-break niya, so exercise like that and eat the right kind of food. Okay, the vegetables and citrus fruits that will try to react this cholesterol and it will be broken up into pieces and then removed in the excretory system. Okay? You get the point? Oh, ganun. Okay. Now, what is the formula? Atong iyagyag ang cholesterol. The structural formula. Atong iyagyag, ha? Okay. Ganun. This is gonna be, ganun, benzene. Oh, ganun. Kaloka? Di ba? Mojo din siya, guys. Temahimuan ni. Okay? Because organic chemistry is really part of chemical engineering. Okay, like this. And we have the OH here. Okay, so OH here, okay? So, this is gonna be the double band, right? Because, see carbon, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, double band. Okay, carbon 4 at banded mo siya sa 4. Okay, like that. And then we have the C3H here. Ganun siya chuba-chucho. Okay, now, then we have also here another benzene, and then we have the pentagon here. Pentagon, meaning not hexagon. Hexagon is the benzene, pentagon is we don't know yet. Okay, like that. So this is CH3. O ganon. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. CH3. O ganon. CH3 and then CH3 ganon chuba-chucho. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, CH3, CH3 like this. This is the formula of cholesterol. Imagine how many carbons are there? 27 atoms and hydrogen 46, and there's a lot of double band. Okay, it's not very easy to break the double band, guys. If you do the sampling of this cholesterol in your blood or any substances that you're taking, it's not easy. You have to decompose the double band and the triple band compared to the single band. It means higher temperature, higher kinetic energy, ganun siya. Okay, so it's not easy to break the double band, okay, compared to the single band. So that you can produce another products, another chemical reactions, to produce another reactions, to produce a byproduct like this. It's gonna be like that. Okay? So it's gonna be this is the formula of cholesterol. So 27 atoms of carbon and 46 atoms of hydrogen. Now erase. Charara. Okay? Muna na itong timan oy. Ato ikaw sa nunit kay basta naman na siya carbon ara, hydrogen, and you will understand the rule because the time will not be enough. I will reach to morning. I will emphasize everything. Really, Really, if I do discussing everything, double band, ganon, cis, para, in organic, there's like that. Okay, and how can we say that that is, what do you call this one? When you start counting there, okay, so it's gonna be like that, cholesterol, okay, fatty acids, ganon, COOH, okay, omega. When you can see omega, the counting is in the left. That's why it's called omega fatty acids. Okay? Omega fats. Because the counting is not starting from the right, it's starting from the left. So the word omega was based on counting where the double band carbon is placed. Okay? That's why there's a double band there, and this is omega. Omega fatty acid. Okay, found in different tuna, good for the health, because the counting of the double band is in the left side. If you try to emphasize the structural formula of this omega fatty acids, okay, or what we call as the unsaturated fatty acids, good for the health. Okay, because we have also saturated fatty acids, ganon, okay? And you can find that in the, for example, if you buy the junk foods, there are listing of the nutritional fats. There are also, the unsaturated fats, saturated fats, total carbohydrates, sugar. It's reflected there in the packaging of the junk foods or any products, food products. Just take note that there, it's too high, the saturated fats, then be careful. Because normally, it will increases your cholesterol level. Okay? Or triglyceride level. Take note also, especially also there's milligrams deciliter of, what is called as carbohydrates also. Take note. And the total calorie, meaning the total. Okay, the total macromolecules that is not specified, mainly the carbohydrates and protein. Protein also is being expressed there. One by one check. Protein, carbohydrates, blah, 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 so cell, okay? Saturated fatty acid, unsaturated fatty acid, ganun. Ang unsaturated, guys, is okay siya sa health. Ang saturated, medyo delikado, ha? Okay, ang unsaturated. Okay, muna siya. Na, balik ka sa formula, itaas atong istorya. Okay, we have the total carbohydrates, okay, is equal to the bad cholesterol, okay, plus the good cholesterol, plus 120 triglyceride, EG. Okay, guys, what is bad cholesterol? Ang bad cholesterol, guys, muna siya ang low density lipoprotein. So this is LDL. LDL level. Ang good cholesterol is the high density lipoprotein. Now be careful. Okay? So if the examination in the future will say that which is a good cholesterol? A. Nucleic acid. B. Glucose. C. Triglyceride. D. High density lipoprotein. E. Polycarbonate. Okay? For example, you are facing the board examination and the question will say, what is a good cholesterol? Ang ihatag mo rin siya, A. Nucleic acid, B. Sulfuric acid, D. Wa kay idea nga. So it is the high density lipoprotein. Okay? Equivalent as good cholesterol. So you should have at least a higher high density lipoprotein compared to the LDL. Your LDL must be lower. You get the point? So it must be 200 lang siya. Okay, 200. Okay, 200 milligrams per deciliter is the below. 200 is the good LDL level. Okay? Below 200 milligrams. Cholesterol level. Okay? Ganun siya. Get the point, guys? Below 200 milligrams per deciliter is the normal good cholesterol level. Okay, beyond that, you will develop again type 2 diabetes, okay, chronic diseases, ganon, hypertension, kidney malfunction, okay, cardiovascular diseases, myocardial infarction, cerebral infarction, sepsis, okay, those are diseases, okay, dysfunction, erectile dysfunction, Okay, for the prostate cancer. Okay, like that. So what do you mean by myocardial infarction? This is the same name as heart attack. And what is cerebral infarction? The same name as stroke. Okay, these are only medical terms equivalent. So heart attack is a silent killer of human being in the whole world due to high presence of cholesterol and triglycerides, or the high level of sugars, something like that. Okay, that's the point. So that could be the best explanation for that. Okay, ganon. So low density lipoprotein plus high density lipoprotein plus 0.20 of your triglycerides. Now, if yung medical results guys, na natin triglycerides, gihatag na siya sa certificate, dili natin pagkuha sa inyong total cholesterol. Okay? Now, the total cholesterol is not we are after 2. We are after with the bad cholesterol. This is the bad cholesterol. So, may algebra na kita. Algebra, transpose. So, bad cholesterol, okay, is equal to total cholesterol minus good cholesterol minus 0.20 triglycerides. Now, okay, now, ang given usually sa device is the total cholesterol and the this good cholesterol, high density lipoprotein. So we can obtain by manual the bad cholesterol, which is the low density lipoprotein, in which it should be above 200 milligrams per deciliter. You get the point? Okay, so that is for the cholesterol. Now guys, okay, about naman sa formula of a cholesterol. So, and we need to know the LDL, which is the component for this. This is the component mainly for the triglycerides. See? This is mainly the component of the triglycerides. Now, since this LDL, which is a low density lipoprotein, is the most component of the triglycerides, so if you have high triglycerides, you also have high cholesterol. You get the point? Because the theory states that this low density lipoprotein is usually a component of the triglyceride. Now in your formula, total cholesterol is equal to low density lipoprotein, bad cholesterol, plus good cholesterol, high density lipoprotein, plus 0.20 triglycerides. Okay. Now, no worry with the high density lipoprotein. It should be okay if it is higher because that's good for the health. Only the low density lipoprotein. Okay, something like that. Okay? Nga naman, low density. Okay? Nga nang low density man siya. Because if it is low density, that is lighter. And it's easily to react with the sugar and other biological substances. Okay? If it is having a higher density. Okay, the flow will be easy and fast compared to the high density. You get the point? Am I correct? So low density lighter, right? How light or how heavy the substances will flow. That is the density. Okay, how denser, ganon, less dense, more dense, like this. Okay, so it's gonna be like that. So LDL. Now, okay, now let's break down this density, low density and high density lipoprotein. Ngayon, igamit kita high density and low density because of how light and how heavy this cholesterol will move and will flow inside the veins of our physiological in anatomy structure of our inside of our body. Okay, flow man siya. So, density. And then you can compute for the concentration, katong millimoles per liter, right? Okay. No, siya. And then, lipoprotein. Let's investigate this one by one. What is a lipo? Lipo is basically a lipid. Lipid is a fat. Imagine, lipid is a fat plus protein. That's why low density lipoprotein. So meaning to say, if you have a higher cholesterol, you are also fat. Because there's a fat component in the definition of a low density lipoprotein, which is the major component of your total cholesterol. Get the point? So, mutambok po ka, mo obesity, mo overweight because of the definition of lipoprotein, because lipo is lipid and lipid is technically a fat. Okay? There's no such problem with the protein because protein, combine na siya sa lipid. Okay? Due to the protein synthesis inside our body. Okay? The biological synthesis. Now, if we have the lipid, we have the fat. So this can be unsaturated fatty acids, as what I discussed earlier, and saturated fatty acids. But in case of an LDL, since this is a bad cholesterol, so usually it is saturated fatty acids, not unsaturated. Because unsaturated is good for the health. Okay? So that's why. So this is fats. The meaning of lipo, this is fats or fatty acid, which has a formula of RCOOH, alkyl group, bonded with carbon atom, oxygen to oxygen and to hydrogen. Okay, you cannot relate, but if you study chemistry well, you can understand what I'm trying to emphasize, specifically organic. But I don't think so other engineering courses have organic chemistry. So sometimes you cannot relate, right? Because there's no organic chemistry by other engineering courses also. It's also limited to pharmacy, BS pharmacy, medical technology, BS chemistry, the Doctor of Medicine have organic chemistry, and the chemical engineering. So we have common subjects, organic chemistry. Because if they don't have organic chemistry, they cannot interpret well the medicines. Okay? The prescription of medicines. And medicines composed of macromolecules. Okay? The ingredients and the composition of all medicines are macromolecules. If they don't understand the chemistry of medicines, then why use their profession well? They cannot use the profession well. Okay, that's why we have organic chemistry also, the same as chemical engineers. Okay, like that. Okay, now, protein. What's the formula of protein? Okay, I'll teach you. In order we can understand why we need protein in our body. Okay, I'll erase this. Ay, nakakaloka, John. Okay, nakakaloka, no? Okay, time check brought to you with powdered Alaska milk. 96.3 W Rock. Okay, the 9. So protein. So protein, guys, usually came from meat, like that. We can find that also in dairy products, milk, something like that. And in fact, we can find that also to plants, from plants, protein, due to the photosynthesis of phosphorylases reaction, in which the light of the sun will act as a catalyst in producing a chemical energy from a chemical energy to light energy to give the chemical energy. Okay? Light energy man ang sun, right? Light energy. And then produces chemical energy. Okay? So, ika-convert mo produce siya of carbon dioxide and water. Okay? Which is our source. Bali man ang combustion, right? Combustion process, the product will be carbon dioxide and water. Complete combustion, right? But the photosynthesis is the reverse. Okay? We have the raw materials, carbon dioxide plus water, and it will produce the protein synthesis that contains mainly of various of energies, carbohydrates, blah blah blah, so and so. And then our catalyst will be the light energy from the sun, that's why photosynthesis. Okay, and plus the phosphorylases, the presence of phosphorus in there, right? In the reaction. Okay, naman siya phosphorus, so na siya mga energy there. Need man siya talaga sa okay? Sa mga synthesis, biological synthesis. Okay, the formula of protein is like this. Oh my gosh. Okay. RCHNH2COOH. Okay, organic acids, katulad ng akong saturated and unsaturated fatty acids is RCOOH. R meaning alkyl group, it could be CH3, CH4, or higher. Okay? Composed of carbon and hydrogen, that what we mean of alkyl group attached to COOH, meaning carboxyl group. Okay? COOH is carboxyl group. There's one double bond in there and single bond oxygen, oxygen, and hydrogen. Yes? Okay, and then our CH, this is our protein. Imagine, in protein. We need that protein in order to be alive. Without protein, we will not be healthy. We will die. Really, 100% sure. If we don't have protein level in our body, we will die. Because that is for the aging process. If we have enough collagen, protein in our body. So protein is, the formula is RCHNH2COOH. So there's a presence of nitrogen, hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen also. Okay? Too much. Okay, then plus cholesterol pa nga, nasa yung mga carbon at oxygen na gano'n na. Porque yan, daghan ng carbon at oxygen sa our body. And then we need to dispose that very ala tool through urine, bowel movement, physical exercise, through sweating. Okay, imagine there's a lot of carbon and hydrogen. Sa cholesterol pa lang daan, 27 atoms of carbon. Okay, and 46 atoms of hydrogen. And then plus this one protein. Okay, so I'll show you. Okay, this is gonna be the structural formula. Okay, ganon. Okay, R, H, ganon. And then we have N, H, ganon. Okay, and then we have COOH. Okay, like this. Okay, get the point? So, NH2 is here, the NH2 is here, and this is the RCH here, and this is the COH. So RCH, NH2, COOH. Okay, get the point? NH2. So there is a lone pair. What do you mean by lone pair? Meaning these are the number of electrons that are not shared. Okay, so meaning to say in the amine group NH2, this is amine. Okay, so the source of ammonia starts from amine, right? Because ammonia is NH3 and it will go to ammonium, NH4. Okay, like that. So NH2, NH3, NH4. So it will start first with amine, then go to ammonia, NH3, and go to ammonium, NH4. Okay, like that. So this amine, guys, having a lone pair, meaning not stable. So there is still electrons to be shared. So that is unequal sharing of electrons, meaning that is polar covalent band. In here, there's a polar covalent band. Okay? So polar covalent band in here. Now, kung polar covalent band ng amine, what will happen if it will react to water? Nasa siya polar covalent band. So magkataas ang polarity. Okay? Something like that. Nakakaloka. Okay, what's good in protein? It looks like it is hydrophilic. It will react to water. Because there's an NH2 outlet here. And there's an H outlet also in the COOH part, corner to corner. So it can easily react during the cycle of the reaction. Again, in the RCH NH2, the NH2 have H outlet. It can react to water. And the other one is the COOH, carboxylic acid, is also the H outlet in the other corner. Now, water has H. Now, if we have a higher affinity meaning bonding with each other, so meaning to say protein is hydrophilic, meaning it will dissolve to water. Okay? Or it will completely be flown to water during removal of your wastes. Something like that. During metabolism. Okay? But it's not true with the lipid and fats because there's no outlet H there. And also cholesterol. So that those are hydrophobic. Okay? So less affinity with water. That's why it will never dissolve immediately. Naman siya stuck siya sa atom inside our anatomy, structures inside our body and causing the clogging. It will block the flow of our blood circulation, and eventually, it can cause heart attack, myocardial infarction, and stroke, cerebral infarction, and a lot of chronic diseases in the future if we don't regulate our blood flow well, and at the same time, eating the right kind of food, citrus fruits, vegetables, and you should take note to the health effects of those products and beverages that you buy in the market. Something like that. Okay? Get the point? Ganun siya. Okay. Okay, it's very clear, right? Simula na siya nga itong protein. Okay. So, ang protein pala, guys, we could not troubleshoot exactly the number of atoms and number of carbons because we don't know yet what will be bundled in the alkyl group. Right? The R, di ba? RCH. R could mean a lot man siya. Pwede siya CH3, CH4, C2H6 like that as long as a combination of carbon and hydrogen. So we could not state specifically what is the molecular formula of a protein. It depends on the alkyl group that would try to react in this protein macromolecule. There's no specific. It depends. Okay, but the cholesterol is specific. Triglycerides is specific. Okay, saturated fatty acid is specific. And the unsaturated acid is specific. And there's examples of that. For example, saturated fatty acid is a stearic acid. Okay, stearic. 18 number of hydrogens. Too much number of hydrogens, right? Okay, like that. And then we have also the palmitic acid. Palmitic have, let's say, 8 carbon atoms. So palmitic acid is an example of unsaturated fatty acid. So you can say that the lesser the carbon atoms are, the more it is highly adaptive to unsaturation. You know, unsaturation. So meaning to say unsaturated fatty acids. But the higher number of carbon atoms, okay, that would also proportional to saturation. That's why saturated fatty acids, muna siya ang mga stearic acid. Okay, na found in butter, like that, in the oil, something like that, okay? So, mga oily, mga cheese, mga ganon-ganon, mga meat. So, ano siya, stearic acid or saturated fatty acid is not good for the health. Okay? If overconsumption, okay, above the dosage level, something of the required health data I mentioned earlier. So, we are now finished in the cholesterol. Okay, so BP, blood pressure, sugar level, triglycerides, and the cholesterol. Number 4. Okay. Okay, so ganito ang cholesterol. C27H46O. Okay, may mga formula so that we can understand the behavior. Okay, and then number 5, we have the BMI. BMI, guys, is very easy to detect. Okay, BMI is the body mass index. So this is very important, guys. Again, common to the other 3, 1 to 4. Okay, usually you can prevent also the obesity, overweight, ganon siya, hypertension. Just basically the same, guys. Related regard sa 1, 2, 3 parameters. 1, 2, 3, 4 parameters. So BMI, okay. So you need to detect your weight regularly. You will maintain your weight regularly by having a loss weight program. Okay? Have a loss weight program, meaning you are trying to plan a dietary food intake that contains low carbohydrates or low carbs or low sugar fortification or fortified with low sugar foods and substances, something like that. And then you measure your weight every morning before breakfast. Every morning before breakfast, because there's a slight positive 2 increase if you have water in your stomach and oily foods. So that is not the true weight, because the weight of the water, the weight of the fluids, weight of the muscles, the weight of the stored fats, plus your original weight, it will matter. That's why originally, if you don't eat, you have 62, and then if you eat that much, you'll become 64. The 2 kilograms there are the fluid weight, the water weight, the substance weight, the solid you intake weight. Ganon siya. That's why every morning before breakfast, you must measure your weight. Okay, weight over the height. Okay, the height will be expressed in centimeters. You don't have to worry, because as we grow older, our height will be permanent. Okay, so this is not changeable. This is permanent. So all you have to adjust is the weight. Okay, through exercise or any food supplements that make you thin, THIN, okay, make you lean, LEAN. There are also supplements that make us losing your weight. Not only for physical exercise, mga supplements siya. But the disadvantage is you have to have cost on that. You have to buy maintenance. Okay, so it's the lost money from your pocket. And there's a natural way of doing that. Why you should not do the natural way of doing that? Okay, you have to go to jogging, walking every day. jogging, biking, cycling every day. So that way could lose your weight. So no need to buy supplements just to lose your weight, right? So katulad ng mga takulan, okay? Buy supplements in order to become, uh, weight less or lose weight. Ganon. So never mind, that's choice. We cannot force, that's their choice, okay? Like that. Okay, so weight over height. For example, the weight is expressed in kilograms. Okay, kilograms over the height is expressed in centimeter. Okay? So the unit will be kilogram per centimeter in BMI. Okay? Like that. So, like this, kilogram. For example, I am 63 kilogram now. So 63 kilogram now, divided by 120 point something. So I have 24.6 BMI. Body mass index. Now I will refer to that table in which I memorized already. Okay, the table is just like this. So we have normal weight. Okay, normal weight. Your BMI will be 18.5. Okay, to 24.9. So I have 24.6, so pasok sa banga. So I have normal weight because the maximum is 24.9. I have 24.6 BMI. Now, I should be take careful also because they're already 0.3 something to the maximum. So maybe I will jump to the overweight if I will not control my sugar intake. I will always drink soft drinks. I will eat rice every day. Okay, I will eat cakes, milk tea, junk foods like this, hot dog, beef, dili-dili ala tool, okay, meat, dili-dili ala tool. Of course, it will increase my BMI to here and it will become higher if I will never control. Okay, so it's closer to the maximum, my BMI. Why? Even if I do the exercises and the jogging 3 times a week. Why? Because our gene factor, our genetic factor, our hereditary traits are big, really. Okay? When, for example, if me, I will eat rice in 3 days, I will become big immediately. Because my metabolism also is not very fast. Aside from that genetic factor also, we belong to a family, okay, from our generation that is really fat, something like that. So it matters, the genetic factor, right? Because it talks about the DNA, the RNA, deoxyribonucleic acid and the ribonucleic acid in determining the hereditary traits of individual coming from our parents, coming from the grandparents, and those are the examples. And DNA, RNA are the nucleic acids, part also of the macromolecules in biochemistry. Okay, you get the point? Okay, now our overweight is 25 to 29 ang BMI. Kilogram per centimeter siya ha. So 25 to 29. So if your BMI is here overweight, so you need to control because you're overweight already. Though it's not really that issue because that's in the middle. But still, you are prone to hyperglycemia, pre-diabetic, hypertension, of course. And then the last will be the obesity. This is the dangerous obesity. Obesity is 30 up BMI. So this is prone to chronic diseases and risk of hypertension, okay, myocardial infarction, cerebral infarction, arteriosclerosis or cardiovascular diseases, type 2 diabetes, kidney malfunction, sepsis, okay, erectile dysfunction, Alzheimer's disease, okay, cancer of the lungs, something like that, tuberculosis, cancer of the liver, cirrhosis, okay, like that. Okay? You got the point? Like that. Or cancer of the brain. Charot! Okay? So, may anak sa obesity. Be careful na ka anak sa obesity. Hyperglycemia, kasagaran. It talks about the blood sugar man siya. Okay? That's obesity. So, muna siya ang imong BMI. And that is number 5. So, what is our number 6? Health data. Okay? We should remember this one because this is generic in all over the world. Okay, not only me creating this one, this is all over the world. It will be shown in your tawakal na, in your health passport. If you can see that one in your information details, and be careful to that. that has relevance for your health. Because take care of your health because you have only one life in this world. Again, take care of your health because you have only one life in this world. And all you have to do is for survival for another 5 years, another 10 years. If you don't take care, then take back. Okay? So be careful. Okay? So, ganun siya. So, ang number 6, guys. Okay, unsa may number 6, what is the number 6 health data? This is the most common, no need to calculate. Okay? Like this. So, okay. Number 6. This is the waistline. Right? When you buy a pant in the mall, in the supermarket, or whatever, right? You need to choose the pant according to your waistline. Now, if your waistline, let's talk first for the male. Okay, if your waistline above 94 centimeters, okay, that is already for obesity. So above waistline, now waistline. This is very important, waistline. And this is very easy to determine. All you have to do is to get the tape measure and measure your waistline. Right? Compared to this other 5, in which you have to go to the doctor to get medical tests. Okay? And get sample of your urine and your blood, and there will be an injection. Okay, something like that. So, in this waistline alone, and BMI is very easy to detect. Okay? That could prove, I will be able to have these symptoms if I will ever control this. Ganon. Okay, so waistline above 94 centimeter. This is obesity. Okay? Like this. Less than 94 centimeter. This is okay. But normally 80 centimeter. Okay? In the range of 80 centimeter to 94 centimeter, but it's better on the minimum side. It's in the 80 plus side, not in the 94 side plus. Because that's maximum. Kung masipit lang taggamay, mula pa sa 94. So that's why we should go on the minimum side. Because the more it is minimum or lesser, the more it is okay not to be overweight and not to be obese. So, normal waistline. Okay? That's 80 centimeter to, let's say, 80 centimeter to 90, something like that, right? Approximation. But not beyond above 94 centimeter. Okay, you get the point. And for the women, you have to maintain up to 81 centimeter only. 81. And if they go above 81 also, obesity, like that, and less than 81 is more good also to them. Okay, you get the point? Muna siya sa waistline. Okay, so 6 health parameters or health data to be maintained, to be controlled by us. First, blood pressure. 2, sugar level. 3, triglycerides. 4, cholesterol, or specifically the low density lipoprotein. 5, BMI, body mass index. Number 6, waistline. Now, how often you will be able to monitor and control this? It depends on you. As long as you do it regularly, for example, every 3 weeks, every 1 month, every 3 months, every 6 months, every 1 year. As long as it is regular conducted, it doesn't matter. Of course, the more it is frequently done, the more it is better and accurate, so that you can really follow the fluctuations of the results in yourself, something like that, or how often it goes high, it goes down. If you have the more frequency in controlling and monitoring your health data by yourself. Okay. Actually, this is not to be taught or to be discussed. This is only personal thing. Okay, so I want only to share information to everybody, guys. Okay? Any questions so far for this health data or health passport to maintain good health and to maintain our good immune system, to fight any types of chronic diseases or any sicknesses or any illnesses. Illnesses, diseases, sicknesses are just the same in meaning, huh? Okay? Do not be confused. Diseases, illnesses, okay, sicknesses or sickness. Okay, these are all bad health impact or adverse health impact or negative health impact or worst health impact or detrimental health impact. What else? adjective prior to health. Detrimental, worst, bad, adverse, bad. Vocabulary, right? In English. Okay, thank you so much. If you like this video, then you can comment below down the comment section. And then if you are not subscribing at my YT channel, then you can subscribe now if you want. And then you can click the notification bell for some newest updates of I Am a Singer, particularly occupational safety and health, environment, pure sciences, mathematics, chemical engineering, kantahan, singing moments, personal vlogs. Personal vlogs meaning cooking or whatever, dancing, like that are not related to the one I mentioned, okay, prior. Okay, something like that. Okay, so there's a lot of topics or subjects to be discussed. I think it's gonna be on Saturday that I will be talking about environment. Okay, environment, the habitat